Thank you.
Happy Sunday. Happy National Women's Month.
Thank you.
Happy Black Women Today and Tomorrow Day. That's right.
Yes.
Black Women's Day every day.
That's right.
That's right.
Today, tomorrow, yesterday. That's right. Thank you all for coming for the celebration. We try to celebrate every day. Isn't that right? That's right. It's very important that we do that. My name is Len Dyson. I founded the Multimedia Training Institute many years ago. We're here at Studio W. What we do here is we work with young people. We work with them in a very meaningful way. This technology, as you see here, we have young people on the cameras there. We have young people back in our control room. We teach them video production, computer technology, entrepreneurship. This tool is a very powerful tool that needs to be used for the uplift of our people. You know, I know young people like to do their music videos and shake the booty and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to put something in their minds. This technology is a tool that needs to be used in a positive way.
That's right.
And so that's what we are trying to deal with. And once they learn this technology, these tools, we try to give them some consciousness to marry the two.
Yes, sir.
And so today we are doing that with Brother Senghor and Brother Heru. Brother Senghor will bring you the message, a message that is a long lasting message coming from Brother Marcus Garvey. Brother Heru is a world traveler and a spoken word artist of the highest degree. And so our young people will be capturing that today, not only here in our small studio, but we are streaming to the world. So if you're on the internet in Africa, if you're on the internet in the Caribbean, if you're on the internet anywhere here in the United States, you will see what's happening in this studio today. Those of you who are here for the first time, don't be a stranger. You know where we are now. I know it may took you a while to come up the alley, around the corner, back up in the cut. But this is where we are, and please sign our sheets before you leave. We want you to be on our mailing list. We want you to come back and see our young people in action this summer. We're doing some great things. We are documenting pioneers of the civil rights movement that live here right in Washington, D.C. And then they're going to take that information and create oral history and then interpret it from their lenses of hip-hop and music and all that. You got to get them excited. Sometimes they look at stuff and say, oh, this is just history and that happened a long time ago. But how do you interpret that history from where you are today? And so that whole intergenerational piece is very critical, because young people don't know whose shoulders they're standing on these days. So we're just excited about you being here, and that's what we do here. Again, welcome, and happy Sunday, happy Black Woman Day every day. Mr. Senghor. Let's give him a hand. Come on, let's have
I'm going to ask my brother Len to stay here for 1 second, because it's always a pleasure being here in Multimedia Training Institute, and it's a collaboration that's taking place. Baye Services is designed to help us collaborate more with one another. We know some collaborations are going on, but not enough collaborating is going on. So I'm glad to be back here, Len. I thank you for allowing us to do this and to stream. This is a work in progress, so we wanted to let you know this is the second official event that we've done here. We did one here for I Thanks to Collard Greens, which is still up on the Multimedia Training Institute site. And we also are doing today, which is a tribute to not only the collaboration between Baye Services and Multimedia Training Institute, but Movement Tunes and the UNIA, the King Baba Kamau, Queen Mother James, Division 332, and y'all need to put a black hand together for that.
All right.
Because Baba Kamau and Queen Mother James was two powerful ancestors, and Mother James is definitely the bridge of all President Generals of the UNIA. Now we get on to my message. Thank you, Len.
Thank you, sir.
And we will have Len come back later on
and
share some more with us.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Len. How's everybody?
Yes, sir. Fine. Thank you.
We're going to keep it real simple. And like all y'all out in Streamland, I'm happy to say that I am the 9th successor to the Right Excellent Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and the 10th President General at this point in time. So as officially serving in that capacity and being a humble warrior who sat at the feet of the Honorable Charles L. James and many who walk with Marcus Garvey. I am honored to be here to give you this message today. And to all of you who are picking this up via the internet, we say welcome. Even though you're in cyberspace and you're not here with us in this warm studio with all these positive vibrations and people that we have here, we say hello, tell everybody, everywhere, check it out, hear what we have to say. Thank you for coming to the studio today. Tribute to black women. And this is not History Month for black women or History Month for women for that matter. This is her story time. Her story time. Very important, because today, as the President General, I'm here to give you a message about black women, because we just left a very short month called Black History Month that Carter G. Woodson actually did. Correct? Yeah, that's right. Y'all can talk to me. I mean, it's hard seeing y'all out there because it's kind of dark and the light's shining here. But the fact of the matter is Baye Services, the UNIA-ACL, and Movement Tunes is pleased to be back here at the Multimedia Training Institute and with their staff. A staff of young brothers and sisters, Brother Scott and all the young brothers and sisters in the house. Thank you again for helping us carry on this message that we're streaming. Once again, it's going to be a very positive collaboration. And as the 9th successor to the Marcus Garvey and the 10th President General of the UNIA, I'm elated to work with Baye Services, the Multimedia Training Institute, the UNIA-ACL, Division 332, and Movement Tunes. Today, you notice that I'm reading because sometimes when the spirit gets in you, you can get a little long-winded. So I want to make sure I read to you before I let the long wind hit me. So, and anything is subject to happen when the whirlwind is present. And someone told me earlier about this Mercury thing, and what's happening. And I understand that, but I also understand and welcome the Minister of Industry and Labor, Chuck Banks, that just came in the house. But also want to welcome all the leaders of the UNIA and all y'all brothers and sisters who are supporters of the UNIA. So I'm going to read a message to you today. And I want to make some eye contact with you along the way. So when I look up at you, I'm sending a vibe, but when I look down at my paper, I'm getting a vibe. Y'all got me? Mm-hmm. Make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
So I come before you with this message, tribute to black women yesterday and today. Can't talk about today if you don't understand and understand yesterday. And certainly, if you know where you are today, you certainly should be preparing of where you're going for the future. And today I'm going to talk to you in that respect. Yesterday, today, and future, meaning one tense. Her story yesterday, her story today, and her story, which it should be tomorrow, which should be a better her story. Is that not right? This month being Women's History or Her Story Month, we want to reflect on the great and gigantic legacies of black women of yesterday, our ancestors, as well as the tremendous works of black women today. Oh yeah. See, what happened yesterday was tremendous, but it's still happening today, right before us, right? I know all the brothers say, right.
That's right.
Yeah. First, I give the utmost honor and thanks to my own mother, yes, Aline Carr Rick Still, my great-great-grandmother, Eliza Slade, and the many great female ancestors of my family. I give thanks, or I wouldn't even be here. I give thanks and honor to the great legacies of works, words, and deeds of Amy Jocks Garvey, Henrietta Vinton Davis, Queen Mother Estelle James, Queen Mother Moore, Shirley Chisholm, Nanny Helen Burroughs, Anna Julia Cooper, Sojourner Truth, or you can say, yeah, if you like, Harriet Tubman, Betty Shabazz, Coretta Scott King, Queen Nzinga, Nanny of the Maroons, Rabia Rayford, Ruth Smith, Ella Baker, Nina Simone, Whitney Houston, and Drusilla Dungy, to name only a few.
That's right.
Just to name a few of the many of our great ancestors who have gone before us from this physical life, only from this physical life, but certainly they are forever present with us. Their spirits, works, words, and deeds shall be remembered and revered. Is that not right?
That's right.
This month, and each and every day, brothers and sisters, each and every day, it is most appropriate for us to honor black women who are the cradle and foundation of all humanity.
That's right.
As an African black man, I want to take a few moments to speak frank with you. Are y'all ready for that?
Yes, sir.
It is our obligation. I say that again. Our obligation and responsibility as leaders. Listen carefully. Spiritual warriors, universal African nationalists, Pan-Africans, and men in general to respect our black women.
That's right.
Is that not right?
That's right.
I'm supposed to hear large amen from the brothers,
Amen.
or at least, oh, you're right, or ashe, or a whole tip, because it's not about me, he or she, it's about we collectivity. Is that not right, my brothers?
Yes, sir.
All right. I know it's more queens in the house, but brothers, certainly y'all can shout it out, especially if you're with a queen. You know what I mean? For far too long, we have fell short of providing, sharing, loving, and supporting our black women, my brothers. We must recognize that our black women, our mothers, grandmothers, great-grands, lovers, sisters, wives, caretakers, and mothers of our children have for too long been disrespected, misunderstood, oppressed by our common oppressor, and even abused and not supported properly by our own selves. Is that not right?
That's right.
When we don't respect our black women, we disrespect ourselves. When we don't provide for our black women, how can we expect them to provide for our children? When we don't love and honor our black women, how can we expect to be loved and honored? When we don't protect our black women, how do we expect our communities to rise to our traditional greatness? Huh?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to make it plain. I'm going to try to keep it simple, and we're going to be brief. But certainly we need to hear this talk. Because what I'm saying to you should be resonating in your soul, brothers and sisters. Yes. You all are aware of the saying, a nation can only rise as high as its women. True?
That's right.
Up, you mighty race! We can accomplish what we will. We say that long and loud in the UNIA. And all of you should say that, because technically what it simply means is, it's not just your mind power. It's not just your physical strength. It's not just your emotional want. It's your will that really matters and moves your consciousness. Because that is what will move your mind. That's what will move your behind and move your emotion rather than emotion. True?
That's right.
Make sense to you? Today, in 2012, our great black women have sustained and are advancing in global leadership. True?
That's right.
Continuing to raise our children. True?
Yes, sir.
Working to build healing circles and networks. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Still helping all deal with our own health and wellness, and working hard as ever to maintain our families and our communities, our institutions, our movements, and our whole race. Is that not true?
That's right.
So if so, what are we doing to help support that? Are we doing enough? I say we are.
No, sir.
Many of our sisters are some of the best creative artists on the planet. True?
That's right.
The fact is, black women somehow, some way, have found the ways and means to do some of everything, and in many cases, they do it better than many of us. Wow.
That's right.
That's deep. I don't know how that resonates with you, but I know how that makes me feel. Because I remember the days when my mother set me down while I was in the hospital, prepared to have open heart surgery, and told me a lesson or two about the importance of supporting black women, and not just her, but supporting black women. And I was a young man at that time. Still took me a long time before I really understood why she was drilling that in me and my brother and sister. I am speaking truth to power here, and the facts maintain themselves. So it's not something that I thought up. It's something that helped me come up in me, where I was raised to come tell you this today. I didn't know I was going to be the 10th successor to the Right Excellent Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Hello? Amy Jocks Garvey helped raise 2 children. Did y'all know Marcus Garvey had a child in 1930 while he was still the President General of the UNIA? Marcus Garvey Jr., who served 12 years, who was elected right here in Washington, D.C. And then 3 years after that, he had Dr. Julius Garvey. Dr. Julius Garvey is one of the best heart surgeons in his 70s today that we have on the planet. Marcus Garvey Jr., who is still a special representative to this body, was an engineer par excellence. He's still great. But who raised them physically? Amy Jocks Garvey. Garvey left here physically in 1940. Y'all hear me? So they were aged 7 and 10. How did they get through college? It was Amy. How did you learn about Marcus Garvey and the philosophy and opinions? It was Amy. Y'all hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let me stop here and give thanks to a few of the great women for their consistent works and efforts, as well as their service despite all obstacles. And we said we're going to talk about yesterday and today, right? Well, we talk about yesterday a little bit, right? But certainly that's the foundation we stand on, right? Now let's talk about today, okay? I want to give some thanks to some women. And if you're in the house, you can shout out. If you're not in the house, shout out later on when you hear this. Because I'm shouting you out. I first and foremost give thanks to none other. Y'all know who I'm about to say, my tender love. Kathy English Hope, who happens to be the ambassador of health and wellness of the UNIA-ACL of the United States of America. And I'm telling you that word tender love is not just personally, because if you ever got a massage by Kathy or from Kathy, you might not know what I'm talking about. But she got some magic hands. Anyway, I have to give big thanks to her because she has helped me over these last 11 going on 12 years of better understanding how to be my real self. So give thanks, my dear tender love. Yeah, y'all can give a black hand. And like I said, because I'm keeping it to the paper, I'm gonna get there. You know what I mean? So you won't have to give me that sign. None of y'all. So secondly, I want to thank Sister Wadija Deborah Ricks and Hakima Smith, the mothers of my beautiful daughters. My daughters, Nadira, Zalika, and Elijah. I give thanks because y'all have turned out to be some beautiful queens. I give thanks to Casman Hope, the beautiful daughter of Kathy English Hope. Yes, we are blessed to have some young, powerful black women who are going to be doing some great things and been doing some great things. I want to thank none other than Basima Muhammad Baye, the 4th Assistant President General of the UNIA-ACL and Administrator of the Universal African Black Cross Nurses. I get the shakes when I talk about Basima. And y'all out there in Streamland, especially in Philly, y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all have not heard Sister Basima talk, speak, y'all in the UNIA know what I'm talking about? Hello? Yeah. She bring fire. Yeah. She's a mama of a whole lot of children. She came from a family of a whole lot of children, and she keep it real. She keeps it real. So I know that she was elected when I was elected, and more than likely she will be reelected when I'm reelected, because we are running again. But Mama Basima don't take no stuff. I love you, Basima. Mama Mary Bolter, the Secretary General of the UNIA-ACL of the world. And Sister Bolter is something else, I'm telling y'all. Y'all out there in Chicago, when you check this, y'all know what I'm talking about. But I want to thank Mama Mary Bolter, how she takes care of her husband, Brother Nara Bolter, who actually knew Amy Jocks Garvey. Mary don't go nowhere with her husband not by her side. And she take care of him like she takes care of herself. Nara, you know what I'm talking about, so, you know, I keep it real because I knew both of y'all before y'all were husband and wife. Sister Brenda Dunn Clayton, First Assistant Secretary General of the UNIA-ACL, and as sharp as Mary is, and moves with Mary, and don't take no stuff either in Chicago. Rasta Queen Janet, second Assistant Secretary General of the UNIA-ACL, living in Rich Man. Oh, Rich Woman, Virginia. Sister Jerry Toure, third Assistant Secretary General of the UNIA-ACL. She moves with Brother Inyata just like glue. They stick like that. Is that not right, Mama Kathy?
That's right.
Sister Jerry take care of her man, and her man take care of her. I love y'all. And even though we're not talking about men, we're talking about women today. But most of the time, wherever you find a man that's rolling up and raising up, you find a black woman. And if it's not his woman, it could have been his mother, his grandmother, or somebody. Because we all come through the black woman. Sister Ania Rogers, the Counsel General of the UNIA-ACL of the world. And y'all know to follow the footsteps of my brother Baba Farouk. That ain't no easy task. Sister Ania don't take no stuff. A quiet storm in our midst, I'm telling you. Sister Senghor Nkrumah, the High Chancellor of the UNIA-ACL. When I came through the gates of the UNIA, Sister Senghor was right there. Sister Senghor still right there. Had many roles with us. Also has served as Minister of Transportation, High Chancellor, as Assistant Secretary General. Hey, Sister Senghor, I know you're checking it out there. How you doing, Queen? Mother Sadie Madison, an elder giant in the UNIA-ACL. And this sister actually was the niece of a Legionnaire who walked with Marcus Garvey. I see Mama Sadie as one of my mothers out of Detroit, Michigan. Dr. Nana Sashebi. Oh my goodness. Ambassador of Azania in South Africa, the UNIA-ACL, right here in Banneker City with us. Hard-working sister, worked with the Pan-Africanist Congress many years, great educator. Sister Fulani Suni Ali, Ambassador of Health and Wellness of Central America of the UNIA-ACL. If you don't know the stories about Sister Fulani, you really need to check her. Sister Fulani is not only an acupuncturist and a health specialist, but she take care of my brother Bilal Suni Ali, who will be right here with us doing the same thing we're doing today in August, by the way. Y'all see it? Rosie Park, Ambassador of Cultural Communications, and a hard-hitting Garveyite, ain't never stopped doing Garveyism since she came up from Patois land, Jamaica land, and the sister don't take no prisoners. She's very positive with what she does, very focused, and in fact, I love to hear her behind a microphone with that great Jamaican accent. Anyway, I think she's in the house with us too today. Is y'all out there?
Yes.
Hey. Thank you for all the work you do, dear. Dr. Chenzara of Per Ankh University. And if you're out there watching, I love what you do, Queen Mother. I love what you do. I love how you take care of Nefkara. And you are the president of the UNIA-ACL in St. Croix, Virgin Islands right now, and a true Pan-Africanist mama and queen. Keep it real. Keep it going. Also to Elder Mother Myers of the UNIA-ACL Division 401 of Chicago. Mother Myers keeps stepping all the time. Whenever you got something wrong, she will step to you and let you know. Whether or not it's on the floor or after hour, she will tap you on your shoulder and say, son, Mother Myers, we love you. Elder Mama Nia Kaumba, another giant from our community right here in Banneker City. Don't take no prisoners, been around a while. Listen to that name, Nia Kaumba. Purpose, creativity. Another one of my dear mothers, Elder Mama Jeanette Carson. Yeah. Can we hear it for Mama Jeanette Carson, who's in the house with us today? And I'm going to tell you something right here now. Mama Jeanette is not only a great elder and gigantic health and wellness person in our community, she speaks truth to power too, and she tell you how to get your thing together. She always say to me, make sure you keep your health together, brother. And I love you for that, Mama Jeanette, because you always keep it real, and that's exactly what my mama used to always tell me. You know, you can never be too healthy. Right. So don't be running around thinking, well, I'm healthy. You're never too healthy. We live in an unhealthy environment. Elder Beatrice Davis Williams. Oh, another one, another giant who was here a few weeks ago, and I love Mama B, because Mama B continued to deal with teaching etiquette to the young children. Yes, and to Ivy Hilton. Yeah. to Ayanna Gregory, to Yvette Freed Benjamin, to Suja Michelle Chesley, and Michelle, the beautiful and prosperous daughter of Suja, to Paula Coleman of Adasi, to Yuri, Tendai, and the Ndasi sisters, to Mona Cherie, the chaplain of the UNIA-ACL Division 332. Little Mona grew up with me, was a grade behind me, and I'm telling you, we used to call her Church Mouse, and truly to that, today, she's not a mouse, but she's not in the church, but she's certainly one of the most spiritual women on the planet. And she would be here today with us today if she wasn't involved with Akon. Anyway. Carol Dyson. And I almost called you Lynn, but I said Carol Dyson. It wouldn't be no Lynn Dyson running around here working if Carol wasn't here. Carol, where you at? Well, see, I told you, Carol's rolling. Sister Nkechi Taifa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. LaTanya Smith, member of Division 332 and the Legal Defense Committee. Akila Karima, member of the UNIA Division 332 and a hard-working sister. And you're going to hear a lot more from our sister, I'm certain, because she don't take no prisoners either. Mama Bonita Thompson of Roots Activity Learning Center. Lady Adina, editor of the Whirlwind News of the UNICL of 421. We send greetings out to you. She's a young, powerful, up-and-coming queen, by the way. Kim Baye of the UNIA-ACL Division 332, a great poet amongst us. Zuri Nia, a Reiki master and my yoga teacher. We send one love out to you, Yuri. Now, I ain't stopped yet. So, I'm going to keep going. And we getting close to that time, but you know, I had to just kind of, I'm getting warm up here in the lights. I'm calling all these names, and man, I'm putting all these vibes out here, boy. All these sisters gonna be looking at me now. Harder, huh? Sister Juliet Madison. Hard-working sister, one of the baddest creative artists on the planet, which y'all don't know if you ain't seen some of the art that I done seen. Wow! But not only that, she's a hard-working sister and a consistent sister, plus one of the best friends of my dear tender love. And she's been keeping me in check. In fact, I'm gonna tell a story real quickly, y'all. You know, when I first hooked up with my dear tender love, you know, Juliet said, "You take care of my sister now." She gave me them eyes, and that's what you call making sure that brothers stand tall with who they're supposed to be. Y'all hear me? Y'all, I'm getting a little deep here. I had to break it down, but the reality is we got to check ourselves, and we need to be checked a lot of times. Is that not right? All right. What better place to be checked than by a woman? Huh? Dr. Tilly Williams. I got to hail her up, too. I'm hailing up everybody. You know, I can't call everybody, but I'm calling some, and I want them to know. Now this sister here is very special to me. She's a powerful Garveyite. She's going to be coming up here later on, by the way, so I'm gonna shout her out a little more later. But Sister Ayetta Crawford, y'all put a black hand together for her. And now she got one of the most powerful sidekicks rolling with her, who I watched grow up. And I have a great deal of respect from Mama LaLordy. Mama LaLordy. You got the little one with you too today? Oh my goodness. See, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. And see, y'all gonna hear from them later on, by the way. And Akua Barbara Emerson, the Executive Secretary of the UNIA-ACL Division 332. And I think she's here in the house with us too. And I just call her daughter. So it's a consistent kind of thing going on generational. And I believe her grandson is also a citizen, the youngest citizen of the UNIA-ACL government. Is that not correct? All right, so anyway, that's consistent work. So anyway, and also Fofie Muhammad, who now, and I'm gonna stick on this one for a second here, since I'm getting close to the end. Sister Fofie Muhammad is now the president. Now the president of the UNIA-ACL Division 332, the King Baba Kamal Queen Mother James Division, and I'm so happy because Ayetta served so graciously as a president, and now Mama Fofie is the president. And you know, let me move on because you're gonna hear a little bit later This sister here is a very special creative artist that I'm going to call up later, and she is none other than Queen Laini Mataka, the poet extraordinaire who's in the house with us. And all the women of the UNIA-ACL and the Pan-African Diaspora Union. Oh, I said it. We're talking all over the world. Because Padu, if you don't know what Padu is now, later on when we do something, we're going to explain to y'all. But right now, I don't have the time. But the UNIA is a part of Padu. Padu is a movement growing around the world, pulling brothers and sisters together, from different movements and communities, because we collaborating all over. And the 6th Region Diaspora Caucus, you're going to hear more about that later on. And all progressive movements from around the world. To those names that I cannot call, to those women that I may have stepped past calling their name, but certainly don't take it to heart, because I love you all. It's not about me, he or she, it's about we collectivity, but certainly all y'all queens deserve to be held up. The bottom line is, of course, time will not allow me to mention and name all those who deserve recognition. Yet, I want to thank you all and send out love and warm wishes to you for your continued work, words, and deeds. The UNIA-ACL government respects and appreciates you all, because as you move, so will we. As you grow, so will we. As you learn, so will we. As you prosper and change the way people are dealing with this, it's a paradigm shift taking place in the world, whether you're ready or not. So whether y'all out here listening are ready or not, I'm here to tell y'all that you can no longer hold back the feminine energy, the woman energy. You can't hold it back no longer. It's too late. Mother Earth is pregnant for the 4th time. That's a whole nother lecture. And this pregnancy ain't gonna be joking. But in coming to close, because y'all been so attentive, and I hope you've been clear that I'm only bringing you this message because Spirit told me that this is what I need to say to you. And I'm talking about my mama, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and all of them who used to tell me, how not to do this and not to do that and things that I should do. I'm listening to you now. I mean, I tried to listen a little. I'm trying to listen a little more than what I listened when you were telling me when I was running around the street doing all kinds of different things. But hey, God has blessed me to be here. As President General of the UNIA-ACL, I want to leave this final note for all my brothers. Please, 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 let's all of us do better, respecting, appreciating, serving, honoring, and protecting our black women. They deserve the best we can give to improve our own selves and work to help balance the playing field between males and females. There is a shift, brothers and sisters, taking place in the world and the universe today. And our Mother Earth, black women, and youth need us to be the best we black African men that we can be in 2012 and beyond. So, as James say, don't take no mess. Live up in Mahat. Don't just talk about the principles of Mahat. Live up. Put it in your heart. One goddess. One aim. One destiny. You call on God, you can't do it without calling on the goddess. In fact, we know all the positive names and attributes are attributed to the creator that created us, right? And we know, if we understand that we are just creations that have been created by our creator, that it's our responsibility to work to create a more positive environment for other creations, then you better get busy calling the creator by the true whole name. If God wanted to be a man, why would he create a man? If God wanted to be just a woman, why would he just create a woman? He created man and woman and all the things that you know of. So if you're going to put a gender on the Most High, you got to do it with the Ankh, Mohat. You got to understand the feminine aspect of the Most High. All right, in closing, brothers. In closing, all y'all brothers got a little bit of femininity in you. Uh-oh. I ain't talking that other talk y'all think I'm talking about. That's for somebody else to deal with. I ain't here to deal with that. You got some of your mama in you. And you got some of your baba in you. Because you were procreated by both of them. And if it was not for that chase where that sperm was chasing Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I ain't got to break it down. I know we got some young people in the house, but truth be told, that's how it's done. But if the sperm don't catch up, and a whole lot of them be chasing, right? Is that not right? But if it don't catch up and don't get nurtured by that egg, don't nothing happen. Right?
That's right.
And then it take 9 months to carry that life to term and to bring it through the womb. Is that not right?
That's right.
What did you do, black man, after you shot the sperm? Did you do anything else physically to carry that child? I don't think so. Y'all got my drift?
Yeah.
But you should do a lot to help the mama, because as I told some children the other day that I've been blessed to teach them, I told them, tell me what is the best milk on the planet. These were 6 to 9-year-olds. What's the best milk on the planet? Breast milk. And if you can't drink breast milk, drink the next best milk. And it ain't cow's milk, almond milk, rice milk, soy milk. Y'all hear me? Coconut milk, right? So I want to call Sister Ayetta Crawford and Sister Lordy up here. Right now. Right now. And Sister Fofier. And Sister Fofier, who just said, all right now. Come on up here too, Fofier. All right now. Come on up. You know, come on up. I know you here. I'm talking about the one behind you and the one coming. Come on. Come on. See, I've been doing all this talking about y'all black women now. I'm putting y'all right up on the spot. But we want to all give a black hand to Mama Fofier, who is now the official lady president of the UNIA-ACL. I'm not putting you totally on the spot because we're going to let the youth tell us what they about in this infomercial period of time. That's what it is. So I want y'all to put a hand, I want to put my hand together for y'all. Y'all put your hand together for the studio. Put your hand together for these black queens. And let's give Mama Fofier all the love and light and prayer that we can for her task of working forward. Can y'all move over? See?
Right.
There you go. There you go. That's right. Y'all can take the light off of me now. And, oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So let's say it for Mama Fofier. This is the first time publicly, I talk to Fofier all the time, by the way, but this is the first time publicly that I got to talk you up and bring you up. You know, the next time, though, you're going to get the mic. But anyway, thank you, Mama Fofier.
Thank you.
Thank you. And y'all can step back now. Now, without any further ado, I'm stepping right there and I'm going to listen. Because you know what I like about y'all, too? Y'all don't take no prisoners already. When this sister first came to the UNIA, she gave the UNIA a proposal that the UNIA is trying to still not only digest, still accept and work. That's how heavy the proposal is. But it was unanimously voted on. Y'all hear me? That's deep. Listen where they are now.
First, I want to give honor to elders and ancestors, for whom which, if it were not for them, we would not be here today. Again, big ups to Mama Fofier. She is taking on a huge role. Been there, and I support her all the way with that. Of course, honor to my mother, who is here, Akua Barbara Emerson. Again, if it were not for her, I would not be here to talk to you today. Lordy, my sister, my left-hand woman, she doesn't talk a lot. I'm trying to get her to say something to you today. But she and both of us have worked for about 7 years now, building separate businesses. I'm sure if you know me, you know Bob Senghor. He has always spoken about Shea Essentials, which is my company where we create vegan bath and body products, natural, good for you, and made by us, for us. Those products have been in existence for 7 years. The Lordy helped me begin to build that business. She moved away to Atlanta for a little while and opened up her own business where she actually did wholesaling of black soap, shea butter, raw products for people who, like me, who were making those products. We've now taken it a step further. We've combined our resources, and we have decided that not only will we continue to offer the best in natural handmade products, as well as wholesale black soap, shea butter, things like that for product makers, we wanted to form a cooperative, a collective for handmade product makers like ourselves who have to struggle with, having to pay bills as well as pursue your entrepreneurial aspects. It has been very hard for me trying to work a full-time job and give my heart and soul to my products and selling that and marketing it and paying for websites, domains, and trademarks, and then having to sell online, ship it. It's a huge undertaking, and many people become discouraged. They can't handle it. What are cooperative? Ujima Essentials, and Ujima being the Kwanzaa principle for collective economics. We collectively are working with other handmade product makers. So if you have a product you make, a service you provide, our business kind of does the marketing aspect. We have between our two businesses, we have a very large Facebook following. We have an email list of over 3,500 customers, and these people buy. We know, we worked with them for 7 years. So we use that to help other product makers, not only just by advertising for them, we help them sell. We have a website portal. We just opened a new store that we're working on, so give us all your positive energy on that. But also, we will sell online, which means you send us your product, we market it, we warehouse it. When somebody buys it, we ship it, which takes out all of that extra stress for the cooperative or for the artist maker. You get to make your product, and you get to get paid. So we want to just share that as a foundation for this cooperative. We don't plan on stopping there. We want to do small business services. We do product label. We do help with product research and development, but we plan to expand that. We're going to have flea markets and seminars, and it's just a lot that we can't even see yet with this, but we feel like the strength, the bedrock of our community is our community making its money, making its own money, spending its money in the community. And so for us to be able to be here at this point in our careers to allow others to get where we have gotten, and thus we move as well. So I hope I explained. I didn't write notes or anything. I hope I explained it. And so again, the company name is Ujima Essentials. We're at www.ujimaessentials.com. Real simple. Please, if you're part of the 10-10-50 plan, you're spending black. Buy your black soap, your shea butter, your products right then and there. It will come back. Thank you so much.
Need I say more? Y'all see what I'm talking about? Now, as promised to you, we were not just going to talk to you. And I hope y'all didn't feel like my whole thing was too preachy.
No.
But the bottom line is, it's time that we really start talking about these things publicly.
True.
It's time we start addressing them, brothers and sisters, and talking frank with one another about what is and ain't happening. You know, my tender love always pulls me up on certain things that she may see can help things better, and I love that, because if not your lover pulling you up, or your mother or your mate pulling you up, who should pull you up? Y'all hear me? So y'all black young men out there, pull your pants up. We don't want to see your drawers. Anyway, without any further ado, I want to call my queen sister up, Laini Mataka. And I'm telling you, if you ain't put your seatbelt on, you better put it on now. I don't know what she's going to share, but she has the opportunity to come share whatever she wants. But here it is. You can go to Movement Tunes, movementtunes.com, and not only check out her great poetical skills in word form, but many of y'all don't know she had an album out very long time ago. And she was off the chain, and Kathy know what I'm talking about, Heru know what I'm talking about. I didn't even know that it was the famous Laini Mataka that was Wanda Robinson. Wanda Robinson used to move me so. I used to listen to her, and one day, not too long ago, I looked at that album after somebody told me that's Laini. I was like, no, all these years, Laini, come on up here. All these years, Wanda Robinson was right in my midst. And it was none other than my sister, Laini Mataka. Laini is going to bless us with some poetry, but as I say, you can go to Movement Tunes and purchase her work. You can always support her. She's blessed us all the time here in D.C. Thank you so much, Laini, for coming out.
Thank you.
And it's on you, dear.
And thank you for your ears. He told me I had 10 minutes, 3 poems. Okay. The words of Heru. Heru's words are the lost books of the Bible, the essential roads to liberation that heretics chose not to include. They are the magical incantations that develop and envelop our power to discern those whose lives fight for us from those who choose the mantle of Septimus. Heru's words are underground railroads that free us from democratic chains and Republican shackles, Sankofa-driven directives that point us towards emancipation and away from the constipation of assimilation. No matter where we find ourselves, they lead us back to the black dot of our origins. Heru's words are the binding threads that fortify our Umoja, the handmade weapons that guarantee our Kujichagulia, the practical applications that make up our Ujima, the ever-expanding dollar signs that constitute our Ujamaa, the metaphoric reminders that align us with our near, the creative juices that generate our Kuumba, the lovingly phrased memos that demand and expand our Imani. At a time when cell phones and iPods are the leading tools of menticide, Heru's words are Pan-African guidelines for the lost trying not to be found. They are healing herbs for the easily impressed and the easily imprisoned. When shaped correctly, they are suspenders that pull up the pants on our young men. When written clearly, they are yards of African fabric, attempting to cover the tattooed nakedness of our young women. In the war against black families, they are stainless steel umbilical cords, reattaching parents to their children. Heru's words are carefully crafted chants that reactivate lost heroes and sheroes. Together they form a life support system that forces us to breathe in the freshness of freedom. Whether at the mic or in a book, Heru's words are teleporters that take us back to Africa, the only reality that ever loved us. More accurate than King Jimmy's revelations, Heru's words are apocalyptic visions begging us to listen. And for those who need to be listening, this is the invasion of the hoochie mamas. Since I'm seeing more of it than I can bear, I looked up the word to try to understand, and cleavage means to split. It didn't say nothing about titties, which takes me right back to where I started from. Why are those exotic mounds in my face? If you're not about to breastfeed a child, why are your breasts bidding everybody welcome? Since they're on exhibit, I mean, are they for everybody, or did you have someone special in mind, and would you recognize him if you saw him? If they're not to be sampled like chocolates in an open box, then why are they sitting up in their cups saying, "Bite me"? Can you buy me something? After all, I did let you smell it. Can you help me with my phone bill? Because after all, I did let you feel it. Can you help me with some groceries? Because after all, I did let you taste it. Can you help me with my rent? After all, I did let you spend the night. Unsuspecting buyers, beware. Before you plunge into seminal bliss, go over her body with a microscope. Because somewhere you least expect, there might be a price tag. With more fiber in her hair than in her diet, she flicked her simulated tresses in place, and with her eyebrows arched to the top of her forehead, her fox fur truth-hiding lashes, her "I can blow you better than she can" lipstick, her sprayed-on see-through back-out blouse, her "now you see it, now you don't" skirt, her casually secked-up pumps with matching hump-me bag, she let the mirror have one more glance as she wriggled her skirt down to where it couldn't possibly stay, and locking reason inside, she stepped onto the corridor where hundreds of her kind splashed multicolored feathers as they preened and paced, waiting for midnight to signal the quest for unclaimed meat on U Street. And last of all,
Go ahead.
the 411 on the goddess. Womankind was trampled to the ground. Oh, I'm sorry. Had it on the next page. The 411 on the goddess. Giving birth to my own self. I leapt out of myself to demonstrate the wonder of creation. I am the goddess, the mother of all that is and will ever be. I am the divine split out of which living things spilled out and populated a world. For thousands of years, I was celebrated with rituals, resplendent with words of adoration, hypnotizing music, and painted bodies dancing feverishly. My temples dotted the earth like trees. Whole lakes and rivers were dedicated to whispering my name. I was so uncategorically awesome that night couldn't turn into day without me being praised and activated. Too naked to really be understood, my followers draped me in a coat of many myths, like Joseph's coat of many colors. They stretched and molded the reality of me into whatever their strengths and weaknesses needed me to be. And then patriarchy reared its empty head, making its first act of insanity, the replacing it of me by some god who didn't even know he was a god until he was voted into office. My existence was outlawed, and my believers were tortured and ruthlessly killed. My temples were desecrated and burned to the ground, along with the priests who tended them. And for every assault on my glory, womankind was trampled into the ground. That crazy male god who forgot he had a mother wreaked havoc on the souls and minds of human beings. He used his PR network to promote worldwide mayhem. Women morphed into the fairer sex, emotionally strong, mentally weak. Like children, they needed to be under a man's instruction, and in times of war, they were part of the bloody spoils. Disconnected from the goddess within, Chinese beauties became victims of the lotus hook foot, and for years their feet were so tightly bound that the bones were forced to grow up all over top of each other, making walking superfluous. As the goddess within was terrorized, Indian women lived in dread of their husbands dying, because when a man died, his wife was forced to throw herself on top of his burning body. West African women armed themselves with knives and declared war on their own clitorises. European women tried to make themselves invisible lest they be declared witches and burned at the stake. And once violated, Muslim women were driven away from their children for allowing the violation to take place. Though I, goddess, was once so voluptuous, so earthy, so adored, so worthy of created myths, the present now holds me hostage in the deeper caverns of every woman's identity. Won't somebody somewhere stand in front of a mirror and set me free? Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Come on, y'all. Put your hands together. Now, I don't know how you got booed, but I was just, whew. Wow. Yes. I couldn't think of no other poetic spoken word artist to precede my brother other than Lahini in welcoming him back to Banneker City. But you know, Heru might be down at St. Thomas, but you know he's still here with us because the bottom line is the creative expression that you're about to hear from my brother resonates. Because one thing I learned from Brother Heru while he worked with me with Black
Senghor in the light.
Oh, sorry, y'all. I'm getting ready to step out. I'm getting ready to bring my brother Heru up here. But the bottom line is, when we had our show Black Star Line 9 time, and Brother Heru, who I had an opportunity of meeting prior to him becoming co-host of that show, came on the show. But as one of the most humble artists I have ever met in my life, I was so impressed with his ability to provide for others. The integrity that he showed in presenting himself as an artist, but also opened the door coming out of Black Star Line 9 time with setting up the institution that I keep telling y'all about that you need to buy your music from. And you can get books too. Some of the best. And that's movementtunes.com. So I want y'all to know, Brother Heru has not only put together this institution so other artists can distribute their music and their message around the world, but they don't have to get pimped in the process. They don't even have to put up no money up front. All they got to do is step forward with some good artistic ability. And as Heru said, you meet the Garvey Queen and Zinger test, and you're up on movement tunes. And then they took it a step further. Now you don't even have to go through him. You can just go to the website yourself, click and follow instructions, submit your stuff, get it put up, and guess what? If it sells around the world, after it sells, you get paid. Distribution problem solved, but he didn't stop there. And as I call my brother Heru up to here, to the front, let me also say, now he's also addressing the issue of sustainable cultural music meets sustainable living situations. Did y'all hear me?
Yeah.
It's not culture, it's not music, it's not word sound power, very important resource for us. Does it not nurture our soul? Well, also, you are what you eat too. So as that music and sustainable message meets sustainable development, y'all got my drift? Without any further ado, poet Heru. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You know, the older you get, you have to learn how to deal with the embarrassment of accolades. As we see, the older we get, the more we are ostensibly to accomplish. The more sometimes people give you accolades and you have to handle it, and some of us handle it better than others. And I didn't know Laini had written a piece like that, and it was very moving. And as a matter of fact, when I was asked to do this gig, and Senghor contacted me, and Senghor is like an uncle to me. He's like family to me. And when he asked if I'd be willing to do this, Senghor is somebody I really can't say no to. He told me what the theme would be, and seeing so many old friends, seeing so many women in this community who are stalwarts, and hearing Laini, what I know is very clear is that I won't be closing the show. I'll be asking Laini Mataka, after I do a couple pieces, to come up and close the show. I think that that's most appropriate because I'm also a fan. And I don't get to see Laini that much, and I think that she is one of our rare geniuses. And she just has a level of productivity that, quite honestly, impresses me. And I hope that when I reach her age, I will be still writing poetry with the same amount of passion that she is. And so for my own selfish purposes, I want to see more of Laini. So hopefully, Laini, you will agree to close the show. The second thing, being from Ghana and being from Africa, when you're being hosted by people, you have to show them recognition. And some months ago, a brother named Chuck Banks called me and said, Heru, I'm coming to the Virgin Islands. Virgin Islands is where I live now. I wanted to leave America and live in the Caribbean. That was one of my visions. And so it happened, and Chuck called me and said, would you please, would you be around during that time? And we're coming down, and me and Juliet. And I said, well, Chuck, you know, I'll be around. I'll do you one better. You can stay at my place. And so I got to hang out with Chuck more, hang out with Juliet, made a new friend in Juliet, two beautiful people. And I forget what month it was. It was December. It was December. And, you know, I was their tour guide for the island, and they were, you know, very grateful for my hospitality. And that brings me to a story of Idi Amin. Idi Amin was invited to, you'll see the segue in a second. Idi Amin was invited to London to have dinner at Buckingham Palace. And so, you know, they spread out the place, state dinner and all that, and Idi Amin was loving the food and the drinks and all of that. And so at the end of it, the European powers, you know, Queen Elizabeth and them, they said, you know, Mr. Amin, we'd like to give a toast to you, and we'd like you to, you know, say something. So Idi Amin said, well, I've never seen so much food at a table in my life. I've enjoyed the food, I've enjoyed the treatment, and I hope that one day you will come to Uganda so that I would have the opportunity to retaliate. That's the word that he used, and it's a joke known in Africa. And so, what we would say is that right now I'm being hosted by Juliet and Chuck, and I am glad that they had the opportunity to retaliate. So that's how I tie the Idi Amin thing together. But I do thank my hosts. I do thank Senghor. I thank Lynn Dyson. I thank all of the people that I've seen today. I thank Yad Jiase for showing up, seeing her face. That meant a lot to me. I just thank Shea Essentials for doing what they've been doing. I've been watching the growth of that company, and I've been someone who's been very involved in business in the last couple of years. Although I do poetry, when I was in Africa a few years ago, I had read a quote. I forget who it was, but the quote basically said that there are no magic words that will get us Africans out of the situation that we're in. And that really hit me as a poet, because when you first start writing poetry, particularly Pan-Africanist poetry, you feel like you're going to write the perfect poem that's going to free our people. You feel like you're going to write that one poem that's going to cause everyone to just click and wake up and all of a sudden start acting the way you think that people should be acting towards liberation. And when I digested that quotation, I said, well, you know, I love poetry. It's something that I do very naturally, but I also want to diversify. And so I wanted to do things with my hands. So not only did I get involved in business with movement tunes to deal with the distribution issue that many of our artists have suffered throughout the years, but I also wanted to get involved in sustainability. So I got involved in solar energy and got trained and certified in solar energy, and that's what I do now. One of my inspirations was that in India there's a not-for-profit organization called Barefoot College, and Barefoot College takes women from what they call third world countries, places in Africa, places in the Caribbean, places in Asia, and flies them in to this place in India and trains the women, women who are seemingly living in poverty, trains these women to become solar technicians so that they learn how to put together solar panels, install solar systems so that they can go into their villages and be the electricity providers. And they have sustainable jobs, and they have a different stature in their community. When I saw that about 3 years ago, it really inspired me that that's something I want to get involved in as well. So I'm in the Caribbean now, and that's the work that I'm doing. I deal with sustainability from the practical aspect of renewable energy and trying to make people's lives better through using the earth in a way that's more respectful. This is huge for African people because we have most of those natural resources. We have wind, we have solar, we have hydro, we have all of the things that Mother Nature has given us that if we use it correctly and use the scientific applications, we shouldn't be paying any electricity bills because we have those resources. And that would allow us to stop the parasitical relationship that exists between us and other people who do not have those types of resources, particularly people in Europe. So for instance, you have situations in Europe where it's very cold, and you know the human body has to maintain a certain temperature. And whenever that temperature is not maintained, there has to be something from the outside environments that will cause that temperature to be maintained. That's why you have to deal with heating. And at the moment where you're living in cold environments, you become parasitical onto nature because you have to maintain a certain body temperature. And so you have to draw from nature, whether it's firewood or whatever, to maintain that temperature. In Africa, we maintain that temperature because that is the temperature that exists in Africa. And so we have more of a sustainable relationship with nature in Africa, whereas people in colder environments have a more parasitical relationship. And what happens is that the people in parasitical environments have to take from places like Africa to maintain their body temperature in a homeostasis. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring African people to places where we can maintain a homeostasis economically, physiologically, socially, and politically. One of the aspects is the balance between male and female. And when we find out physiologically that all human beings start off as females, from the gestation period, all human beings, all fetuses are actually female. And at a certain stage in that development, it either stays a female or you have ovaries drop into a scrotum, and then you have the clitoris become a penis. And then you have a male. And that gives us a clue as to what Mother Nature is trying to tell us about primacy. And when we also study religions, we find out that the first worshiped being was actually an African woman. And so as we start as a people to get towards homeostasis, we start finding our lives being more peaceful and balanced. And so there's homeostasis in many different ways. And so one of the goals of this project today is to get to see ourselves in a more homeostatic environment, whether it's our spiritual sense, our physical sense, and our relationship sense with each other, male and female. So it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be invited. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of us who've been frontline soldiers in this. And I think that we're at a time now where people kind of understand what needs to be done, and there needs to be a little bit more coordination amongst our efforts. And so I would hope that everyone in this room, I think most people do know each other, but I do think that within knowing each other, particularly coming from a small island environment, everybody knows each other, but it's not the fact that everyone actually communicates and lets each other know how they can help in their projects, their respective projects. So hopefully today we can make a new commitment to find out what each other is doing and find out how we can help in each other's projects. So for instance, when I didn't know that LaLordy was into wholesale shea butter, because I have people in the Virgin Islands who are actually looking for that right now. So I want to connect you so that we can spread each other's businesses. Chuck came to Virgin Islands with moringa. So that's something that I think that could be good in the Virgin Islands, is selling moringa, which is, if you don't know, how many people don't know about moringa? Okay, well, moringa is moringa is a tree, and from that tree comes the pods, comes the leaves, and it actually is it has the highest nutritional profile of any plant on earth, even to a large degree seaweed. It has about 15 times more iron than spinach. It has more protein than beans. It has 2 times more vitamin C than oranges. It just has this really crazy nutritional profile, and actually it's used to heal a lot of people from their illnesses, because most of the illnesses people have usually is due to bad nutrition. So a lot of times what you have to do, you have to cleanse your body and then nutrify your body. So you cleanse it and then you strengthen it. And what we find out is that one of the problems is that people aren't getting enough oxygen. And so you need iron. Particularly women who are having their menstrual cycles, you lose iron during that time. And iron's role is to carry oxygen in the blood. And so if you have moringa, which is a high iron content type plant, is actually helping to carry oxygen to your blood even more, and oxygen actually is a purifier for the blood. And those people who are interested, talk to Chuck, talk to other people who are into these types of fields of health, and you'll find that when you start taking moringa, a lot of things start balancing themselves in your life, homeostasis. So there are a lot of people involved in a lot of things. I just got this book today from Laini, The Prince of Kokomo, as a gift. I'm sure you got some more of these books. Pick up Laini's books. They are great reads. All her books are great reads, and I'm just glad to know that you got another one. I'll be reading this on my airplane flight back and enjoying it. So let me get into some poetry, and then we can get me off stage and bring Laini back. It says a tribute to women. One of the women that I find that we as African people need to really take a serious look at. Really, it's two women, but I believe that they're reincarnated into each other, and that's Queen Nzinga of Angola, and that's Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
And they actually lived to be around the same age, and they did the exact same things with their lives. And if Harriet Tubman wasn't in an African environment, she definitely would have been a queen. She would have been a military ruler of whatever jurisdiction that she had land control over. That's very clear. Harriet Tubman was she was a sharpshooter. She was actually, during the time when she was alive for the South, she had the status of public enemy #1, much like Osama bin Laden had for the United States. And there was a bounty on her head with the, she was like on the FBI's most wanted list, #1. She helped raid slave ships and freed African people from slave ships. She was a military tactician. She was one of the people who helped develop the Adinkra system of the Underground Railroad, where people communicated with quilts with Adinkra symbols. She was a serious woman. She got hit with an axe on her head when she was around 13 years old and suffered from migraine headaches, but still did what she did. So then the question becomes, what's your excuse? Right? So she's a great inspiration for me. Queen Nzinga of Angola is a great inspiration for me as well. And so when I write my poetry, I tend to draw from their energy. And I can't really explain why, but their energy attracts me. And so I'm going to do two pieces that are in dedication, livocation to those two women. And hopefully you all get the drift. You get where I'm coming from. So we'll start off with a piece called She's Got Grace. And then I will end with a piece that a lot of people know called Goddess of the Perfect Black. And then we will call Mama Laini up here to come do her thing, because I just want to see Laini. All right, so just bear with me and we'll get through this. She's got grace, she's the winner of the race, and yes, she's got mystique too. Match your face with an African place. We bust the case, 'cause in the end, Queen Nzinga will critique you. We are lucky to be born black, like the black dot serendipitously sprinkled on a dice. Run, go tell them 7-Eleven. We gonna rise to the heavens like leaven yeast. We gonna speak the truth whether famine or feast, so that you know that black woman in youth is the truth. Yes, the fruits, yes, the roots, yes, the first, not the worst, not the last, not the least. Look to the east, ganja smoke increase. Watch the police, brethren and sistren, run, go tell them to trample a beast. Yes, my truth runs ugly and naked like Lady Godiva. Backroom man, if you don't like me, well then I don't like you neither. I tied a plane of fly while you play the spider, sucking the blood out of those who would dare to fly higher. What color are you, widow spider? The blood sucker is you, the blood lover is you, the wanna be undercover, no other blood brother is you. Who kills more than you? Who steals more than you? Who has guns more than you? Who has funds more than you? Who runs gimmicks more than you? Who runs tricks more than you? You are the one who would clip the wings out of fledgling tenderlings and distort the harmonizing of hummingbirds who would love to sing. She's got grace, she's the winner of the race, and yes, she's got mystique mystique too. Match your face with an African place. We bust the case, cause in the end, Queen Nzinga will critique you. We're caught in a nest of betwixt and between and between and betwixt. I see technological warfare is for those who ain't built for no licks. What color are you, widow spider? The great divider, the hateful liar, the African continent, Berlin Conference, 52 nation divider. Your internal net has followers. Fused at the hip as interconnected sheeple, HTTP is originally an acronym for hunger, takes a toll on people. People, sheeple are chained at the tongue by a high-sprung, star-spangled, fake, patriotic, bubonic collar. And you've got the nerve to associate worldwide hunger with the ups and downs of your Masonic dollar. My people, if you understand the shake of the earthquake, for goodness sake, you would know that underground detonations by the U.S. Army caused a tsunami in the world to make a plate tectonic holler. We don't come to bow. If karma is karma, we don't come to bow. We want reparations now. If karma is karma, then we have every right to rob from them, steal from them, take all of our ancient artifacts back from them, whether today, tomorrow, or right now. Get your reparations anyway or anyhow. Queen Nyabinghi inspired the Mau Mau. Sounds of the Black Panther goes wild. She's got grace. She's the winner of the race, and yes, she's got mystique too. You match your face with an African place. We bust the case, cause in the end, Queen Nzinga will critique you. Our ancestors shall be the clouds. We shall be the lightning. And our children, they shall surely be the thunder. Our ancestors shall be the clouds, we shall be the lightning, and our children, they shall be the thunder. Aborted fetuses stillborn in fetal position shall represent the malnutrition and the condition of our collective slumber. Take a seat, but first, why don't you pick a number? Sit down and meditate on all of their rape, pillage, and plunder. How they took the truth, ripped it from the seam, and turned it upside down asunder. Still the whole world shall wonder, while the rain, yes, the rain shall fall in cataclysmic symphony, representing a teardrop shed from the pupils of the prophets, proclaiming prophesied victory, solutionizing and realizing that the only people's names worth memorizing are those who spent their lives fighting against colonial tyranny, economically, spiritually, physically, specifically. And every blade of grass shall represent resurrected spirits that rose in due seasons, and the soil shall represent the foundational platform that supported the germination of every rebellious rebel who became a rebel for a rebellious reason. And the tree shall represent the Pan-African principle that shall not be moved, and even if severed from its branches, it shall maintain its nourishing roots. And the wind shall sing songs of victories not yet won. And the depths of who we are, who we be, shall be kissed by the colors of the cascading sun. She's got grace. She's the winner of the race, and yes, she's got mystique too. Match your face with an African place. We bust the case, cause in the end, Queen Nzinga will critique you. We breathe deeply, and we smelled the beauty of it all. And we said that every single piece of ancient architecture made by our foreparents shall be our collective wailing wall. And all through the night we dance the dance and trance the trance and trance the trance and dance the dance and trance the trance and dance the dance, so that we may have the chance to have the Shango spirit answer our beck and call. And I swear the day that Peter Tosh died, there were 400 years of witnesses testifying to thunderclaps and lightning balls. And for once we were united. Yes, we were united. We decided, we made a decision, create our own religion. Yes, we made a decision to create our own religion, where Marcus Garvey was the only begotten Son of God. Yes, Marcus Garvey was the only begotten Son of God. And the feminine name of God, yes, the feminine name of God is revealed as Queen Nzinga of Matamba and Ndoga. Queen Nzinga of modern-day United Angola. Queen Nzinga, her name is more terrible than smallpox, botulism, or Ebola. Queen Nzinga, the front tooth, side tooth, original Gorgon, sister soldier. Queen Nzinga is the eye of the beauty in the eye eye of the great beholder. Behold, our name is whispered, and watch wickedness stutter and stall. And there was a great prophetess named Asata, and yes, she saw us through it all. And she said that the answers to the ancient mysteries are found in Hatshepsut's geometric hypostyle hall. And she said, we Africans, we can't lose, we won't lose, we will never fall. She's got grace. She's the winner of the race. And yes, she's got mystique to match her face with an African place. We bust the case, 'cause in the end, Queen Nzinga will critique you. Yes, she will defeat you. Thank you. My only master is the one who made me, he, she, the birds, the bees, the trees, the seas, the breeze, we to be. One theory is that we come from monkeys, but after careful study I can see the inconsistency. You see, human beings and monkeys, we live simultaneously. So the theory of evolutionary relativity, it cannot be. You see, the fields of archaeology and anthropology, they are plagued by the lack of verity. No truth is ever found in white supremacy. That's why they found 3 million euro bones of a black woman in Africa, but still they call her the European name of Lucy. Goddess of the perfect black, descend and show my people how to defend and react. Yo, goddess of the perfect black, you're the one who got into the head of Kofi, renamed Fred, and said we are not turning back. Yo, goddess of the perfect black, speak to my people who are no longer cognizant of who we are. Instead of aligning ourselves with cosmic stars, we've aligned ourselves with cosmetics and cars. Prosthetics of jail bars are fused into the heads and the hearts of those who would choose and use and abuse tattoos to replace scars. Gil Scott Heron said Backra's on the moon, but now Bacra is on Mars. And the universe was polluted when Hollywood actors became stars. Yes, Backra's on the moon, but now Bacra is on Mars. But I'm sending out a universal caution. I've seen what they have done to the Earth, so now I'm rooting for the Martians. And you can call this intraspecies or intergalactic treason. She will change her tactics every season. She practices whatever she's preaching. There's nothing lacking in her teaching. She's got my backing whenever she's reaching. She and I are double teaming, so we're screaming in agreement when it comes to the seed of my semen. Some scheming European human beings have been demons, so they push prophylactics for a reason. She'll change her tactics every season. She practices whatever she's preaching. There's nothing lacking in her teaching. She's got my backing whenever she's reaching. She and I are double teaming, so we're screaming in agreement when it comes to the seed of my semen. Some scheming European human beings have been demons, so they push prophylactics for a reason. She will change her tactics every season until this world is made into the image of she. Until this world is made into the image of me. Until this world is made into the image of we. Black people is not every fruit that's part of your family tree. What about the ones that rot? What about the ones that got spots? What about the ones who think not? What about the ones who inspire not? What about the ones who admire not? Remember, it's not every single vegetable that reached the black kettle yaba pot. Race first, give thanks, yo, goddess of the perfect black. Descend and show my people how to defend and react, yo, goddess of the perfect black. You're the one who got into the head of Kofi, renamed Fred, and said we are not turning back. Yo, goddess of the perfect black. I came to resurrect your nobility. I came to notify the world of your divinity. And you were the one who was taken from the isles of tranquility, and then you were shaped in the barrel of captivity as you were used in the barrel of captivity, and you were abused in the barrel of captivity, then you were raped in the barrel of captivity, then you escaped from the barrel of captivity, and then you were burned in the barrel of captivity. Yes, you returned to the barrel of captivity to return to the barrel of captivity so that you could burn the barrel of captivity. And when they asked you, yes, they asked you about the barrel of captivity, you said that you freed hundreds from the barrel of captivity, but you could have freed thousands from the barrel of captivity only if they could have been convinced that they were in the barrel of captivity, economic barrel of captivity, physical barrel of captivity, psycho-spiritual barrel of captivity, barrel of captivity, barrel of captivity. Race first, give thanks, yo, goddess of the perfect black. Descend and show my people how to defend and react, yo, goddess of the perfect black. You are the one who got into the head of Kofi, renamed Fred, and said we are not turning back, yo, goddess of the perfect black. Your name is much more than semantic, symbolic, or titular. And you're the calm in a storm that we're caught in the middle of. In the story you tell of saviors never change, they're always similar. And the smell of traitors is strange, but also familiar. Yes, you're the calm in a storm that we're caught in the middle of. And nigga is a word reserved for those who would hijack. No, nigga is a word reserved for those who would floss but lost their own kingdom, said the ancient Riddler. Yes, cracker is a word reserved for those who would hijack and crack the backs of blacks to gain their own kingdom, said the ancient Riddler. She said, I need reparations and I need your fibula. I need it for a ritual. Embodiment of the physical is manifestation of the spiritual. Community concerns has gone from group to individual and singular. Singular and individual. Black history lessons is more than trivial. She said, I need reparations and I'll be needing your fibula. I need it for a ritual. Embodiment of the physical is manifestation of the spiritual. Having vision is much more than just being visual. The universe ain't linear. No, the universe is cyclical. Evidenced by the planets which move elliptical. Let science be scientifical and mathematics be mathematical. Let mathematics be mathematical and science be scientifical. Tell me what happens when science goes political. Well, the earth being flat was strictly political. Ancient Egypt, not black, was strictly political. The descendants of rebellious Jamaicans and Haitians living in shacks is strictly political. Hip-hop not defending blacks is strictly political. Stop listening to rappers who are rapping about killing you. Let gangsters be gangsters. Let lyricists be lyrical. African Americans, your love for America has never been reciprocal. Black Americans, your love for America has never been reciprocal. Negro Americans, your love for America has never been reciprocal. Nigga Americans, your love for America has never been reciprocal. Did I cover all bases? Well, I hope you think so. The blood of Africa is the world's umbilical. Prove it? Well, simple. The laws of the black goddess Mayat predate everything and anything biblical. Goddess of the perfect black. Lainey, please. Lainey, please. Lainey.
That's my son. Senghor, give me a time. Give me a time.
Go ahead. Let's see where we at. You got at least another time to do at least another 2 or 3.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe, depending on how long, you know.
Okay. Post-traumatic.
The room want to hear it.
Post-traumatic slavery disorder. Letty and Tom had just finished jumping the broom when Master J kicked in the door, pushed Tom to the floor, and raped Letty, and dared them to speak on it. 3 incarnations later, Tom looks up at Letty, douses her with memory, and sets her on fire. Mad math, and then some. 1 moment of white privilege is worth 10 years of opportunity in the lives of 100 black people. Wow. And I probably didn't do my math right. Okay. This is called Madonna Auditions to be Medea. Madonna auditions to be Medea. And Madonna said, she looked into that little black boy's eyes and they made a connection. The queen of Never Was a Virgin, having somehow blown the opportunity for a colorful birth, has been working the fringes of melanin all her life. Delusions of exotica dancing in her head, she discovered Alvin Ailey, whose expertise allowed her to peek through a window into black world to see what she'd been missing. Next thing you know, she was in a video, sleazing around with a Baptist church setting, black choir wailing in the background while she and Leon did their mating dance. But that didn't lessen the longing to be black, so her personal life took on more notoriety than her performances. She screwed Dennis Rodman's brains out till he was so conflicted, didn't know whether to suit up or don a wedding dress. Now she's gone slumming in Malawi and found herself a black baby. She said, she looked into that little black boy's eyes and they made a connection. I mean, what kind of connection? Like Madonna and child, mistress and slave, owner and pet? Or did she feel a connection between her wealth and his poverty? Customized viruses and demonic economics killed the child's mother and other siblings. The father was so traumatized, he let her take his remaining son, not to keep forever, but to just till he could get back up on his feet. He didn't know her intentions. He thought she was a humanitarian, and she must have thought he was a fool because healthy Africans do not give away their children. Yeah. She said she looked into that little black boy's eyes and they made a connection. Something her immaculately white conception denied could be symbolically had by taking possession of a black soul. She had no problem separating that child from every black influence in his life, even went so far as to invite others to visit that same country where she guaranteed they would be moved to charity. If she cared anything about African people, she could have sponsored one of the father's dreams and became a part of the solid ground under his family's feet. If she wanted to take the child to the Wild Wild West, she could have offered the father a living job on her estate, thus pulling both of them up out of the pit white supremacy cast them into. White folks can't bestow charity on Africans because everything they give they already owe. And she said, she looked into that little black boy's eyes and they made a connection. She was thinking, oh, I have just got to have you. And he was thinking, yeah, that's what your ancestors said. The power of prayer. Pain is the name of the game. Pain is the name given to the space between you and your creator. A daily reconnection with the divine can abort microscopic fissures before they give birth to alienation. Living in lack. As long as you accept crumbs, you ain't ever gonna have a cake, let alone a bakery. Straight up. If white people's just flat out admitted to being devils, guess how many Negroes will be gluing on horns and sewing on tails? And we know some. Okay. They want to be us. They want to be us. If they can't darken, then we must be skinned alive. If they can't sing, then we must be made to scream. And if they can't dance, then we must be shackled. If our God is omnipotent, then theirs must be diabolical. Dog. The white man says a dog is a man's best friend. And since only an unconscious black man would dare call himself a dog, an unconscious black man is a white man's best friend. Trying to give you some little teeny weeny things, you know, show you some variety. The funny thing about AIDS. If AIDS can be transmitted by touch, then so can stupidity. The only thing you might catch by touching a person with AIDS is a glimpse of your own humanity. Must AIDS stare back at you from a mirror before you believe you don't have to be negative to come up positive? Remember this when our folks used to play on our fingers and on our toes? This little piggy? This little piggy wants Iraq. This little piggy stays home. This little piggy bombs Palestine, and this little piggy screams shalom. And this little piggy goes all the way to the bank. boy meets girl. I met him at a conference. We flirted with the same sessions, posed aloud the same questions, till finally I agreed to lunch so I could pick his brain, which turned out to be quite an abundant place. As part of dessert, it was only natural for him to ask me out, which I refused because he was white, and ain't no monsters having no ball up in here. And that's a fact. And forever. Patriotism. I pledge my allegiance to God and humanity, to never kill another except in defense of my life or that of a significant other, i.e. the earth. I used to write oh boy, okay. Cedric, okay, barbershop. This is called Loose Barrels Make the Most Money. Cedric, who wished he was an entertainer, cracked on Rosa Parks, who with the simple stationing of her royal behinds caused more history to unfurl than his barbershop mentality will ever absorb. Just because they want you to say something in a movie don't mean you have to say it. You know, you can say no. Okay. Short things. I'm trying to be more succinct these days. Okay, I'm gonna read this one twice. It's called Ancient Rumor. To empower the sight with all of its might, darkness is the sincerest form of light. Again. Whoa. To empower the sight with all of its might, darkness is the sincerest form of light. You agree? And the Oscar goes to, the Academy Award should give Satan a Lifetime Achievement Award for faking his own existence and tricking millions into believing that God could possibly have a rival.
Come on.
That's right. That's right.
Something small. Yes. I confess. When I was young, I was too chicken to be a panther. Being cats, I thought they were going to eat me. Et tu, Kanye? An enigma for a moment only. And then we saw you all wrapped up in that red, white, and blue, drinking Pepsi like you care about black people. You know you apologized. This is Nitwit Tom on mathematics. Master Jefferson said blacks were naturally inferior in math. I bet Black Sally could calculate how many times she had to let her half-sister's slave-holding husband erase her age with his semen. Green card indictments. You come here, knowing we're here. You come here ignoring our situation. You come here to feed us liquor and 7-Elevens of poison. You come here looking at us through brown eyes turned blue, as eager to exploit as the Italians who turned you out. Yeah, you come here, constantly aware of faces that look just like the ones you left at home. And yet you come here, bringing us no sense at all of the African warmth that we've heard about. You come here, but you leave your ethnic clothes at home on the floor next to your African identity. And you notice I didn't mention any names. This last piece, okay, it's called For Your Information. The main thrust of the civil rights movement was the lynching of Willie Lynch and all of his descendants. They had us boogalooing and finger popping to the tune of if you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. And if you're black, what? Be deep chocolate and act like you were getting ready to look a white man in the eye and you could lose your toilet cleaning privileges and be whiteballed away from all opportunities to cut a slave. Be high yellow and forget that white only was not a metaphor for you, and your head could be opened up with a bully club while your body be dragged through the street and thrown into a jail where the grand wizard was moonlighting as sheriff. Be a bubbling brown sugar scene talking to one of those NAACPers, and you could end up being attacked by rabid dogs on 2 legs and then 4. So they met secretly in each other's homes, with fear standing guard at one entrance and anticipation at the other. They conspired in heated whispers, vacillating between victory and defeat. They were ordinary people, tapping into the greatness of their own past, an act so sanctified and so cohesive, it brought forth a river of supportive ancestors who'd been missing in action since slavery. They took the certainty of their creator, and they wore it like Kevlar against blue eyes that vomited hatred all over their deepest yearnings. The real work took place when the Andrew Youngs and the Jesse Jacksons weren't anywhere in sight. The real muscle came from family members like yours that no one ever talks about anymore or even remembers. Folks who didn't have a dollar but gave two to get strangers out of jail. Folks who, though tired of being afraid, took to the streets, even though they knew that they were going to wind up crushed between concrete walls and the paralyzing water of industrial strength hoses. Folks who were so committed to extracting beauty out of all that ugly that their slightest word or deed could bring about the death of everyone they loved. If the everyday Negro hadn't taken such gargantuan risk, Tommy Smith and John Carlos might never have saluted the Olympics with clenched fists. If some anonymous black man hadn't been able to lift his head despite the redneck spit on his face, Huey Newton wouldn't have said anything and Bobby Seale wouldn't have done anything. If the colored ministers, touched by the divine, hadn't turned their churches into war rooms for anti-racist strategizing, even today's most renowned minister would still be churning out calypso songs. Some of the most dauntless, everyday people took on the most perilous odds so their descendants could later brag about being thugs with no resumes. Manicured gangsters and marshmallow-filled rappers talk out of their butts about everything but a way to end racism. If they really want to pay their dues, they need to jump into their overly priced dummy mobiles and take a soldier's ride down to one of those little southern towns where Jim Crow is dead, but Jim Jr. still has a stranglehold on the black and the beautiful. Let us make a new decree that the only way you can be a thug is to jack up a Klansman and take possession of his sheep in Alabama in broad daylight. For anyone who thinks the quest for civil rights was about Uncle Tom's begging for crumbs from Whitey's table, answer this. Have you ever given your time, energy, genius, or love to a black anything with no possibility of personal gain? Have you ever whispered thanks to the shoulders that your $200 Nikes stand on? And did it ever occur to you that without the movement and Dr. King, there ain't nowhere in the world you'd have all that bling bling? Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
All right, now, y'all, let's hear it for Laini Mataka. Let's hear it for Brother Heru. Now, as Baye Services and Multimedia Training Institute, both Heru and Laini, we do have to talk to y'all as great artists because that information that just went out, we need to talk to you about the fact that we're streaming and the fact that we got this on video because we want to keep the business real. So before the night is over with, before the night is over with, we will deal with that. Brother Lynn, come on up so we can bring this to complete closure, please. You got to come from behind that camera. So on behalf of Baye Services and Multimedia Training Institute, I want to thank you all for, coming to the studio. We have some refreshments. We really appreciate your participation in this. We have some nice kale that's raw, Mama Kathy's kale. We have Baba Senghor salmon cakes, and we have some peas and rice, and we have some other knickknacks for you. We do want you to get to know one another if you don't know one another. Lynn?
I just want to give honor to Sister Laini and Brother Heru. Let's give them a great big hand. Come on, let's give it up. Yes. Come on, give it up. Give it up. This is what it's all about. For our young people to hear, for our older people to hear, to take this technology and to capture the truth, speaking truth to power. This is why we are here. Let's give them another hand. Come on, give it up. So don't be a stranger once again. Fill out those forms before you leave to make sure you're on our mailing list because we have a lot of other great things coming up. God bless, God bless, God bless. Thank you.
Thank you very much, you all.
Thank
And like I said, it's not over. We want to thank Shade Centrals, which is also Ujamaa Cooperative.
And I want to thank also all of our crew behind the scenes, Scott Brown, JJ, Andy, of course my better half, Mrs. Dyson, Ileana, the students. I mean, let's give them a hand. Come on. Because this takes a lot to pull this off. And I'm just very grateful and thankful to them to make this happen for us.
All right, you all. Go in Godspeed.